This isn't any regular heat. This is nuclear heat. Live from the 93.7 The Ticket studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Bringing you the latest from the Square Circle on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Jake Bakovic.
Yes, welcome into Nuclear Heat. It is a good time to talk some pro wrestling as we just got done with Crown Jewel live from Saudi Arabia on a Saturday, which of course always just jumps into your college football Saturday. You got to find a way to get it in there. But it was a very entertaining premium live event. Of course, a lot of what happened on Raw and SmackDown leading up last week to Crown Jewel, it was part of the whole thing. So we won't talk too much about Raw and SmackDown. There's a few things to uncover there that we might do by the end of the show. But for the most part, we're going to be just doing a Crown Jewel review here on Nuclear Heat. And Nuclear Heat, if you haven't heard, if you haven't listened, our weekly WWE Week in Review type of show. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Myself, Jake Bachman, always here with you, alongside my tag team partner, Nuclear Heat contributor, Augie Pena. Augie, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. We got some beautiful weather out here, for this Sunday night to talk about some wrestling.
It's definitely rainy out, so I appreciate you coming through the thunderstorms and all that. Down to the 93.7 The Ticket studio, but there's plenty to talk about here. We can get into it later. There's an injury we got to kind of figure out how real it is with Rhea Ripley from an NXT parking lot beatdown. There's a couple releases in WWE that we'll probably get to you by the end of the show. But like I said, for the most part, we'll be focusing on Crown Jewel. And Crown Jewel had a pretty good card lined up for us here. You had the Bloodline against the OG Bloodline, basically. A 4-team tag team match for the women's championships there. Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed, and what's been a little bit of a blood feud, I suppose. Unsanctioned match. I always like how they add that in there. Liv Morgan and Nia Jax, as well as Gunther and Cody Rhodes on the men's and women's side, both champions fighting each other to become Crown Jewel champ. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Speaking of blood feud, I mean, they've been really going at it there. And then LA Knight, Andrade, and Carmelo Hayes. Pretty much just something to do for LA Knight to get in there. So talk about all those matches. We'll open up the way that they do. We'll go in chronological order here with the Bloodline against the OG Bloodline. And again, not going through too much of what happened on Raw and SmackDown, but just to kind of set it up there, the original Bloodline is getting back together. We saw Jimmy and Jay embrace, unite, and then agree on Monday to come to the show Friday to try to make up with Roman Reigns. And so that's kind of been the story along the line, but is everybody on the same page? And right away, they kind of let you know what the entrance is. Maybe not, because Jimmy comes out with his entrance with Roman, and Jay comes out separately. Before we get into the match, how do you kind of like the presentation of that, the Bloodline, what we've seen this week of them coming together, Augie?
It's a little confusing. It makes sense because I was thinking about it. They have Jimmy and Jay kind of squash their beef over nothing, kind of right away when like it was a blow up, WrestleMania and all that. And Roman, with everything he did to Jay and all that, I think they're doing it the right way though. Although, it part of it doesn't make sense, but I think it, just kind of slowly getting into it on there. It's really weird to hear Roman Reigns say yeet too, like he did on Friday. That I thought was a good comedy bit. But yeah, I mean, they're going to slow burn this for sure, just to make us keep guessing if they're ever going to really be together and on the same page.
Yeah. And we saw that pop up during the match as well, with Jay refusing to tag Roman in and went for Jimmy. So kind of still telling that story there. And it's hard, when he's still going by OTC, original tribal chief, like he wants to be seen above the level of which Jimmy or Jay, who has been saying throughout the week, he wants to be seen as equals. We'll get to it kind of later on, but it's kind of interesting just to see kind of where they're going there. On the opposite side of it, the original Bloodline with none of the original members. So that's not the original Bloodline. I'll just call them the current Bloodline, I suppose. Had Tonga Loa at ringside. So this was kind of a 3-on-3 matchup, but Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu, and of course their leader, the new tribal chief, was all taken on the OG. So, and Solo Sikoa is the man I'm talking about there. Very interesting booking, I think, and we'll get to this later in the show too once we start to add all these together. Sikoa ends up getting the win. I mean, there's a lot that kind of goes on here post match, maybe more interesting than in the match, but Sikoa emerges after 3 consecutive Samoan spikes on Roman, but Roman takes the pin, which I don't, I suppose is maybe setting up a little bit more for the next premium live event. Is you've got to continue to do everything you can to put Solo Sikoa over and to get Roman Reigns upset. But that was kind of a surprise. But then we kind of moved on after that. The numbers game caught up to the OG Bloodline. They've got 3. The Bloodline right now has 4. Sami Zayn comes out, and you don't know which side he's on because throughout the week he was seen trying to talk to Jay down about not joining back up with Roman and Jimmy, and then he was seen talking to Solo to close out one of the shows this week. So he comes out. Basically, Sikoa is asking for a hug. He turns that into an exploder suplex. So I thought that was a great spot because it looked like they might be embracing. But then they use their numbers advantage to corner Sikoa in the middle of the ring. And then Sammy and Roman both go for their spot at the same time. And it is ducked by Sikoa. And so Sammy accidentally kicks Roman with the haluva kick. And then you have Jimmy and Jay kind of arguing about it from there because they don't know what to do with Sami Zayn. So that's kind of what the booking that they decided to do. There was a little bit of a mess there at the middle. There's a botched pin. I don't know if Jimmy was late to make the save or Roman just got his timing confused about when he was supposed to pin. That's never great. We kind of piled high on Damian Priest for that, for it to happen to Roman Reigns, your most decorated WWE superstar. I guess maybe humanizes Damian Priest a little bit, but not a great look necessarily there. I don't think it took away too much from it. I get it again. I think this is kind of where the bad guys have to win this time, so it sets up for the good guys getting their revenge at the next big blow off. But I don't know. I don't necessarily like pinning Roman this early in his return, and you're just kind of left off of where is Sammy. So a lot of questions that need to be answered. I think there's a lot for you to tune into Raw and SmackDown, but I don't know. I didn't love it.
Yeah, at the moment I didn't either. But when you think about it in the entirety of it, Roman pinned Solo already, correct? At Bad Blood, was it? Yeah. So Solo took that pin. If they're gonna make this a legitimate, they're fighting for the tribal chief mantle. As much as we don't get it, we don't like it. Solo's got to win. They got to make them look somewhat decent, and I think the best way to do that is to have him pin Roman, which I agree. I did not like. I was like, man, this is Roman's second match. Third being back, and you just have him pin there. And I'll say overall, I thought I was kind of a little disappointed with the match in general. I thought it didn't go as long as I was hoping it would. Obviously a lot of interference. Like you said, the whole Jay not tagging in Roman, and then Roman only got a couple minutes in, and then it made him look very weak, and then with the botch on there, he didn't move his shoulder up. Nothing happened. It looked like the ref, even the announcer said it looked like the ref, counted the 3 because Jimmy didn't get to the spot. And I mean, all they do is pin him 2 minutes later. So it wouldn't have been the end of the world if that would have been the spot, on there. But they go with that. But to me, we've been talking about this. Sami Zayn coming back into it. The way they did it, I mean, I was like, oh, okay, they're kind of gonna go. He's just kind of back into it. He's back with them because of Jay. Then he hits Roman and all that stuff. So yeah, they made it very interesting, and especially on Friday, I think it was Friday, right? That Jimmy and Jay, or Monday, Jimmy and Jay were gonna go talk to him or whatever. So I'm talking to Solo, so that made it interesting as well. So I don't know. I thought they wrapped it up pretty well there. And obviously this, I now truly believe this is going to go until WrestleMania. It's just going to have those legs there, but you have to give the new bloodline a win in there to make them, like I said, seem legitimate in there, or else it's, there's really no point to this feud.
Yeah. Well, it is too. Tonga Loa to be at ringside. He's definitely the fourth of the new of the new bloodline. So, I think you have to work on kind of building them up. I can't sit here and say, complain for the last couple of years that they didn't bring Sami Zayn back involved or keep him as involved with the bloodline as they originally should have, and then get upset when he's coming back. I don't know. It's just kind of not the way that I necessarily would have done it. You could get a big pop out of a surprise reaction or something like that. But like we said, everything with the bloodline now, everybody's feelings is accounted for,
Yep.
and it's going to take 2 months for everybody's feelings to get ironed out. And so that's, like you said, the way to kind of draw it out and get it to WrestleMania, which is understanding. But again, this they're doing everything they can to get Solo Sikoa over. I mean, he's pinned Cody, he's pinned Roman. What are they going to bring the Rock back so they can get a pin there? I mean, it's just not necessarily working. To me, I mean, as much as that should be the storyline, until the Rock, it's just not keeping my attention right there, because I don't know years from now if we're going to look back and say, man, this really was the spot it needed to be to put Solo Sikoa over, because it's the spot that almost it's the top heel character right now in the company. And it's just still not working for me to see him hit somebody with his thumb a few times, and that's how he wins.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think he's doing a great job as kind of like a comedy act. As the heel. He's got everything. It's just people aren't behind him. And it is, we've talked about it, the way they built up WrestleMania. He was the guy that took the pin. He was the fall guy. He was that fourth guy all the time. That did him no favors. So I really don't know how they fix it, because they also said he's now pinned John Cena. He's pinned AJ Styles. He's pinned Sami Zayn. He pinned Cody Rhodes. He pinned Roman. I mean, he's pinned everybody.
Yeah, based on their booking, he should be elevated to a point where he's just amazing when he comes on the building, but he's not.
And he's not, because he pinned Cody. What did that do? He went on like a 2-match pin. He was pinned like twice in a row after that. And it just, it's an inconsistent booking. If, I know they're trying to make this whole thing where Jay and Jimmy are on an equal leveling on Roman, because, there's no, like we talked about it, they don't want a pecking order, right? They want them all to be even. But I don't know where you go from here, to make Solo, as you said, credible. And they're, besides bringing back The Rock, but then, Solo's not the top guy, because then it's The Rock, and no matter who you bring in, Solo's just more going to be pushed to the side. And right now, he's got Toma and Tonga. They're just the sidekicks. And I'll give, was it Toma, the one that was in the match?
Yeah.
I'll give him credit. I thought he did great, and a really good job in the match. In there, he's super athletic. He's weird,
He's got that gimmick though.
Yeah.
He's got something that makes him stand out.
Yeah, he's got something that makes him stand out there. And Jacob, while he's the Wolverine in that, his whole "I love you" solo, that's just comedy gold as well. Every time he yells that out, and he's great in the ring. On there, they have the pieces there. It's just Solo as the guy is just, it's not working. I hate to say that, but like I said, he can talk. His comedy act. I mean, when Roman and Sammy, when Sammy hit Roman, they pan to him and he's laughing. He's like, "Look what you did,"
Yeah.
And he has great spots like that. It's just nobody truly believes, he's the main guy, because, like I said, the way they booked him in WrestleMania, and he's pinned everybody. He's pinned so many guys that are top champions at the top. He should be something, and it's just not working. And like I said, if they bring in The Rock, it just kind of makes him number 2, and that doesn't do him any favors either. So I think, unfortunately, it's never going to stick with Solo.
And we'll see too. The Sami Zayn part of it is exciting, but I always kind of think it's funny to go back and look at that, because it would seem like the point of his career was winning the tag team champions, or the ultimate point of his career was winning the tag team champions with Kevin Owens by beating the Usos, and that's how he got his revenge on Roman Reigns. So yeah, I never really understood that math quite to begin with. So maybe they'll use that to their advantage down the line and have a turn here and there. So we'll see. The good thing is, with 8 to 12 different characters, there's a lot of potential down the line with what they could do there. Let's move on to the next match. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill looking to retain against a fury of competitors here. Damage Control with Kairi Sane and Io Sky, Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, and then the group that's I no one longer want to call them an NXT group necessarily, led by Lash Legend along with Jakara Jackson. This was entertaining enough. At one point, Piper Niven accidentally sat on Chelsea Green, so you kind of have that going. I don't know if there's too much to talk about. It was a good match. Again, I think Lash Legend continues to show out, and I thought they did a good job on commentary saying she's got the record for rebounds in a women's tournament game. I guess at Texas A&M was like, I don't want to misquote it, but it's like 28 or 29
Yeah.
rebounds. It was like, oh, that's pretty impressive. And she looks impressive in the
Mhm.
ring. So good job there. Belair and Cargill get the win, which I think is the right way to go here once again. But do you think they should split up soon, or do you kind of like the reign? They're at least brought enough opponents to them to kind of build the women's tag team division up, but there still seems, if you just do one-on-one against in any one of these individual teams, should be Belair and Cargill by a mile.
Yeah, I would say yes, but watching Cargill in this match, she still had a bunch of botches, and that super kick she tried to do, she missed that by a mile, and I think it was Lash that sold it, and then Cargill, still that, and you see things like that, and you're like, you wish she would clean it up more, because a one-on-one between Belair and Cargill, I think would money. That's something that people have been asking for ever since she came into the company on there. So we'll see. I think for right now they need to just stay together. I agree. I thought this fatal 4-way, I thought it was surprising. It was really really good. A lot of action, a lot of excitement. The Damage Control did a great job. Io Sky is showing that she may deserve another opportunity to go after that one of the world championships. And Chelsea Green is just comedy gold. I mean, she was just great the whole time on there. I was laughing that spot where she was gonna do the moonsault off the ring post, and then she kept going down. She's like, no, no, no. That, I thought that was hilarious. They need to do something more with her other than just having her take the pins in there. But yeah, I think they made the right move. The right team kept it, and then just keep these two going and have them feud with a couple more teams and elevate it before the split that will eventually probably be at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Eventually, when it does happen, I think it'll be good. Like you said, I think Jade Cargill's still working her way up there to kind of get to that point. Like I said, too, Chelsea Green is fantastic, and Io Sky, you continue just to be impressed with her in the ring. So a lot of good parts to work with on every team there. So I thought they put together a good match. Again, not much to say about it. It was kind of the expected result.
Yeah.
But it was a good match that they put on. We'll move to the unsanctioned match between Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed, which pretty much means WWE is just wiping their hands. Like, we're not. If anything happens, we're not. We don't have to do anything with this. But they still put the match on, so it's just kind of funny how they do that. Seth Rollins attacks Bronson Reed as he's going down to the ramp. I thought commentary did a very good job of putting Bronson Reed, his motivation behind this of all, like going after the multi-time champion to kind of prove he belongs. So it's good. They highlighted that it's Bronson Reed's first single match on a premium live event. That was good too. So kind of you felt how important it was for Bronson Reed, yet at the same time, he kind of felt like the David versus the Goliath, right?
Yeah.
So it was just kind of a cool cool way to set it up. In any case, this one did not end well for Bronson Reed. He did not get the win. 3 curb stomps, including from the top rope from Seth Rollins, which are always fun and exciting. Bronson, the timing's not always great. So when you're just kind of sitting over there, you kind of think about scouting your opponent. You're just going to sit there in perfect position for you to curb stomp you. Probably not the best idea. So, that would be my only complaint there. But you couldn't ask for more, because I don't think they did anything to make this happen. But Bronson Reed was bleeding from his head, which is good to kind of sell the curb stomps. And Seth Rollins does get the win. Maybe exacts the revenge that he wanted against Bronson Reed, who took him out, remember, in storyline from several tsunamis months back. However, it doesn't look like it's necessarily over. Bronson Reed pops up after Seth Rollins is leaving, after 3 curb stomps, and starts talking trash to him again. Are you interested in seeing this feud moving forward? What did you think about the match itself?
Yeah, I thought it was a great match. These two did what I thought they were going to do. They tried to, destroy each other. They were talking a lot of trash in the ring that I'm glad, I know it's scripted, but the mics were picking it up.
Yeah.
And there, hats off to Bronson Reed. He put on a good showing on there. I do want to see it continue a little bit more, because I still think Bronson Reed should be the guy that comes on top of this feud. I think he needs it more. But then it makes sense when they say that Seth Rollins is in the number 1 contenders match for the world championship. You kind of want him going in hot as well. He's kind of the guy, the biggest name in that. So, he may not win it, but, they want him to be the legitimate threat in there. So it kind of makes sense on there. But yeah, I mean, both were bleeding. I think Seth as well, on his side, I think he got cut
some
open
welds,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. And that curb stomp onto the steel steps, I think is what cut Bronson Reed. But yeah, it was great. I thought, as you said, I thought it was a little funny because Bronson Reed, right before he takes those 3 curb stomps, he's all like taking everything from Seth, brushing it off. He's like, this and that. And then Seth hits him in the knee one time. He hits his face, curb stomps him 3 times. It's over.
Yeah.
Just like that. I was like, I wish they would have cleaned that up a bit. But no, I thought it was fun. I want to see more of Bronson Reed just destroying everybody, or destroying everything. Which, I think, yeah, like you said, the way it was going off, Seth Rollins was warning him like, hey, as he wins and he's leaving, he's like, this is what happens. And Bronson's just staring him down. We're going to have a part 2 and a part 3, which I'm excited for. I want to see it.
Yeah, I am too. I think it's I think you're right though. At some point, Bronson Reed, maybe it'll be in the match you're mentioning, that Bronson Reed gets his own revenge there, because the only problem here is if you kind of just cut it off from here, did Bronson Reed get over without going over? Is he more popular without winning? Probably, but he didn't win the Monsters match,
Yeah.
against Braun Strowman. He's not winning this match against Seth Rollins. It's great to look, scary and go out there and provide a fight. But we as Husker fans know it's all about winning. At some point, you got to win these close matches, these close games. And, there's only so much you can do without getting a win. So we'll kind of see what's next for Bronson Reed. He's definitely feels like a menacing character on the roster. And I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be torn apart if they didn't necessarily keep it going. It looks like that's what they're going to do. But I only say that because like you said, I think it's going to be tough to get a feud win over Rollins. And I think he needs to get a feud win somewhere, maybe before Rollins even, to kind of put that feud over. And that's why I thought he probably should have won that monster match.
Yeah.
Which of course they used him losing with Rollins coming back. That was the surprise. But
yeah. And I got to give it the props. So he has been putting in the work. I'm excited to see him now because, now to me, he is a monster. I know he's lost the last 2, but I think the rub has been enough if they continue, if they decide not to, but just kind of the hints they're giving. He's probably going to interfere Monday night in that contenders match, and then it's going to keep going. But, the 2 of these, I mean, because when you look at it, who would Bronson Reed maybe go after next? Braun Strowman didn't win that one. Seth Rollins, you can't really get bigger than Seth Rollins, and you don't want him to go after someone, that's a mid-carder. That's not going to really help him there. And if he can get just one match, he doesn't have to win the entire feud, but just win one match against Seth Rollins. That's something there. And I think that really helps him out. And then, you got a guy that's 300 pounds, 6 foot, and can, do the tsunami off of the ring top, which is a beautiful spot there. And you've created another maybe contender for a world championship there.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll see down the line. Maybe it'd be interesting to see him get his opportunity as he's just getting started in the WWE. All right, let's take a quick break here. This is Nuclear Heat on 93.7 The Ticket. We're reviewing Crown Jewel from this past Saturday. We will continue to do so. Our next matchup on the docket, Liv Morgan against Nia Jax. We'll get to Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Not a match, but still. And LA Knight, Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, and Gunther and Cody Rhodes as well. We'll do that all coming back next here on Nuclear Heat on 93.7 The Ticket.
Season. And that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket. All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today.
I'm ready.
Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check.
Except this one.
I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread?
I can't stop eating it.
Rico!
Relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
Riddle's Jewelry is excited to be celebrating 65 years. 65 years of so many incredible memories celebrating with each of your special moments. In celebration of the 65th Riddle's Jewelry anniversary, we will be offering up to 40% off all engagement rings and all diamond fashion jewelry. The excitement doesn't stop there. Riddle's Jewelry is also offering 18 months, 0% interest and $0 down financing on all qualifying purchases. Riddle's Jewelry has always been known for incredible customer service, one of the largest selections of engagement rings, and don't forget about the on-site jeweler. Come celebrate with us at Riddle's Jewelry, your one-stop diamond shop with exclusive Levian jewelry, Pandora Charm jewelry, and more. All at Riddle's inside Gateway Mall. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
What's the radon level at your home? Don't know? Find out with a call to Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Make sure your home is safe with a radon check from Bryant. If you've already tested, ask Bryant for a free estimate for mitigation. Once completed, you'll get a report showing how much safer your home is. When it comes to radon, call Bryant 467-1111 for testing and mitigation. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a champ, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce, and jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. Touchdown! This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, One love. Back to Nuclear Heat with your host, Jake Bakoven, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yes, great to be in Lincoln talking some wrestling here on 93.7 The Ticket. This is Nuclear Heat, our WWE Week in Review show. Today we are reviewing Crown Jewel from Saudi Arabia on Saturday. All right, we kind of got through the first of the couple matches there. Bloodline against the OG Bloodline. The new Bloodline did get the win there, and the OG Bloodline is in turmoil. They don't know who to trust. Belair and Cargill did defend their tag team titles. We talked about that. And also Seth Rollins picked up a victory over Bronson Reed. Then we would move to the first Crown Jewel championship match. This on the women's side, Liv Morgan and Nia Jax. Interesting because it was heel versus heel. Now, they did a pretty good job setting up this match on SmackDown, where Tiffany Stratton threatened to cash in on both Liv Morgan and Nia Jax. Of course, she pals around with Nia Jax as it is, so that was kind of a surprise. Unfortunately, as we continue to talk about that for a second, they didn't have her get over on Liv, which makes sense in the match that they had, but Tiffany Stratton still not getting the push that we necessarily want. I think that will be our ultimate thoughts about this match. But so it was heel versus heel. The crowd didn't necessarily know who to go for. Again, you kind of had the David versus Goliath build. So I think it started to, people started to cheer for Liv Morgan, if for nothing else, just to see the small person, see if they can get the win against the big person. Liv Morgan wearing a Dom t-shirt. I thought that was good and fitting. Dom would show up later in the match. But the music hit. Tiffany Stratton was running down the aisle. Looked like she was ready to cash in. Basically, Nia Jax told her, no, not now. Get back, get away. She started to do so, but then came back, was ready to cash in. And Raquel Rodriguez comes out of nowhere to prevent the cash in. Then from there, Dom and Raquel Rodriguez provide distraction to allow Liv to get the win and the pin over Nia Jax. Kind of a cool moment. Liv Morgan, if you don't know her story, she's not from the Indies. She's a WWE, from time she was a baby wrestler, I suppose you could put it. So it was kind of a cool story. Triple H hands her the belt. She's very tearful. I think that, I don't know if that necessarily fits her character now. So I think that was the real life emotion kind of coming in there, which is always great to see. What did you think? I know obviously we've been calling it ever since Tiffany got the briefcase that she should cash it in. This felt like a time. It's interesting because Nia Jax felt like she was going to be a transitional champion, and she's still kind of holding it there, despite getting pinned, I think, 3 out of the last 4 weeks. Or, whatever it is. And so she is taking her pins and gets another one here. This is what I don't like about a champion versus champion match is somebody has to lose. Again, because Nia's already lost a few, probably the right booking decision here. Especially coming off Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, or Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez attack on Rhea Ripley too. They're very over as heels. So I don't mind Liv Morgan winning. Would have liked to see a little bit more of a tease or just a different angle with the cash, and it was pretty paint by the numbers, with the distractions coming in and stop it from happening.
Yeah. My opinion. This is my opinion. I'm very tired of Liv Morgan already.
Are you?
I watched this and I was like, this is the same stuff over and over again. It's the distraction by Raquel, the distraction by Dom, all that stuff. Nia was essentially dominating until all the distractions happened, right? So Liv wasn't doing anything, which is a shame because, Liv's story was, like you said, she came up, she was a fighter, she's undersized, but she was doing it. And now since she's joined the Judgment Day, she's turned into this big coward, champion. And it's getting boring. It's so predictable. What's going to happen on there. So while I say that, I thought Nia Jax looked great. I thought she was going to dominate.
Is this the right audio?
No, it's not. But I mean, that's just the way it was built. You got to pick somebody. You got to pick a side. And I know Nia's been pinned, but I was like, I want Nia to win. I was rooting for her because, like I said, I'm getting tired. And that's what you want to do as a heel, though. Not necessarily get tired or bored of somebody, but you want to root against them, right? And I think the way the WWE is setting it up is you wanted to root against Liv Morgan. You always want to root against them. with that. And I think the biggest disappointment too for me though is that there was no cash in. I mean, they keep teasing it, and to me, this felt like this was the time to do it, but and I mean, did you hear that pop when Tiffany comes down twice? She gets told to leave and she's coming back, and it's a huge pop and all that stuff, and they just won't do it. And now it's going to turn into an actual feud between her and Nia, and that makes me nervous about, she might not cash in successfully. And then that I think would be just, one of the bigger failures of the WWE if they decide not to do that, because I think she needs to be a champion. She's got everything there, but yeah, I like I said, I know it's not maybe a popular opinion there, but I just she wins, Liv wins again, and I was kind of like, ugh. And then one last thing, those belts, we were talking about it. They don't keep them. They gave them rings, so that's the. I mean,
like, do they have to defend it next year? We still don't quite know what's going on.
I guess they're just gonna have a ring that says first time, because they were really promoting that, first time champ. So it was there. And then to me, this is what I hate about these is I think this kind of destroyed my hopes for the Cody Gunther match because Liv won, on one side. One brand isn't going to take both losses. So that kind of ruined the excitement of the main event for me.
There have been Survivor Series where they would do that, but it was, about just kind of the idea overall. Again, I don't think you're getting enough juice for the squeeze and having to pin two of your champions for a belt that we don't even understand. And also just, we, at least as much as we do understand going into it, is that it's not going to be carried. It's not going to be something that somebody's going to defeat you for, in a few months, or something you're going to have to protect. So it's just kind of weird of like, I'm the ultimate champion, which was, what they're going for. And I guess, I can get that. And especially, and over there in Saudi Arabia, they're paying good money. They want it. But if I was paid for that, I would say, now hold on, this isn't something that's going to stick. And I don't know if it will. Can you tease that audience that the importance of this in its third or fourth year? When you're saying it's the first time ever, maybe. But once they kind of go back to this well a few times, and they see, a few weeks later that this isn't really anything that really matters, I think it's going to be hard to kind of keep that there. So I don't know. I got a lot of speculation that the crown jewel belt might not be around in 5 years. So it's tough to say how much it matters to win. And again, you had to bury somebody in order to do it. And the other thing is, it's adding up. And the problem I have with all of it, I mean, it's just over and over. All these, the Cody Rhodes taking the pin against Solo, now Roman, Nia Jax has been pinned over and over again. A lot of their champions have characters and work that lead them to that championship to make you think, okay, now's the time to make them unbeatable. This is great. This is awesome. And now you're losing that. Now, and we'll get to Gunther later too. He's eating too many pins now. He doesn't feel unpenetrable like he did with the Intercontinental title. So I just don't think the whole idea is worth it. I think if you had to go with one here, I kind of like the Liv Morgan thing. I think the NXT spot there really helped revive her. At least I get it. It is repetitive. They're trying to bring Raquel Rodriguez in to kind of spice it up a little bit here. We'll see where they go. If Liv Morgan has an interesting feud with Rhea, set over to the side, maybe that can kind of help out. And then we'll see where Nia Jax goes. Like you said, maybe it's just going to be a straight up feud, because I really don't have a whole lot of interest in her going back over and taking on Bayley or Naomi again. But the problem is they have very good arguments to do it because they've pinned her.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see on that, and I think a big part of it, first off, shout off to my boy Dom, who's also participating in No Shave November. You can tell on that. Yeah, he had. That's the first thing I noticed when he came in. He had a little bit of a beard, kind of like mine. We can't grow them all that great, but it looked good out there. I don't know. To me, this is just me. My perfect finish would have been Tiffany cashing in on one of them. Ending it that way, because then you protect. They knock each other out somehow. She has to choose. She chooses Nia more than likely. That would end the match effectively, and Liv would win. Okay, I could live with that. But like you said, back in our day growing up, the champions were protected. It made it to where, like a Gunther, it was a shock if the champion lost, whereas to now it's, I mean, like you said, on SmackDowns, on Raws, the top champions are getting pinned, and that's just something we're not used to seeing. So, money talks. I mean, they go to Saudi Arabia, I think 3 or 4 times a year now, so they got to give them something good, I guess. And this ugly belt that's going to mean nothing, like you said, in the next couple of years, it is what they wanted. I guess they go for that, but I guess that's where we're a little bit our opinions differ there, because I would have rather Nia Jax. If anyone was gonna get a pin win, I would have rather seen Nia Jax get that.
Yeah, and I do think if Tiffany Stratton would have come out a champion either way, that's kind of the appointment television that they're looking for. Is I want to see the Nia Jax the Tiffy time era start. How mad would Nia Jax be, or whoever it is, Liv Morgan? I mean, it would disrupt everything for either Raw or SmackDown on that side, and it'd be something I want to see. I think coming out of this, there's a lot of good feuds. There's a lot of, what happens next. I mean, I think they've done enough of that, but I don't know if any of it's necessarily appointment television type of stuff, like I think they could have done with Tiffany Stratton. The hope here is that if they're blowing it off so many times, that they eventually, they're going to have something lined up to really get a pop, really get people excited at the right time, whatever it may be. So hopefully, they do pay that off at some point. Let's get to Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens. They've been heating this one up as well. Brawl started before the match could start, and they really never got this match going just because the brawl was too much. I mean, they cared too much to be able to stop them. They did go outside of to make you realize that this brawl was very kind of next level. Couple people had to take some hits. Couple people had to take some spots, and that included KO stunning the ref, who tried to take the chair away from KO. He started by hitting Randy Orton while Randy Orton was doing his pose with the chair. So KO turns on the ref. I think from there, that's when you kind of figure, okay, this match is not going. Eventually, the Viper hits Raw GM Adam Pearce with an RKO. So we'll kind of see how that goes on. And we have Owens put Orton through some tables with a flying elbow to finish it off there. Again, I think there's this, much like the Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed feud, isn't like Gunther and Cody, where you're doing 3 different promos to set up before they finally hit. I mean, there's a lot of action between these feuds. Exciting enough. I think the crowd was not too overly upset that it was not a match, because they at least got their blood, that you want to see there. But did this elevate the Orton Owens feud to you?
It did, and it was a little confusing though, because we were understanding, that it would just be maybe Cody and Kevin Owens going forward in a feud, but now it seems like it's going to be the 3 of them, which they've been dropping hints, because on Friday when Cody and Randy were going to have their match, there's a segment, Randy's eyeing that title, he's waiting for that moment. So I thought this was the right decision. I thought it was fun, I mean, getting to see Adam Pearce eat, in RKO there, and, Kevin Owens hitting stunner. And I mean, it was just fun, just chaos, and I'll be honest, it was one of the better matches of the night. And it wasn't even a match, so that's kind of the fun part about it. So they can, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, we know what they can do. So, if they want to kind of drag this out, bring Cody Rhodes into it, I think that's a smart thing to do, because they've been teasing it for about half a year now. So might as well.
Yeah, they got to do something with Kevin, though, because he's making too much sense in his promos. Yeah. Like, he still makes a lot of sense, and you almost want to side with him. And then this whole thing of, I thought they just went a little far with Triple H trying to prevent, like Triple H, of all people, who used to carry around a sledgehammer and knock folks out. Basically trying to protect Randy Orton from Kevin Owens. I thought, they might, whatever their idea was, is they're going to have to turn this up quite a notch. This was turned up, but it wasn't quite to that level that I thought that you kind of hurt Triple H's character a little bit there by doing that. So we'll see. They've got more time to go. Maybe they get another one in.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I expected one of them to be off TV for a while or something. Like it getting that bad, like you said. Somebody got hit by a sledgehammer. I don't know, something. And it was brutal to a point, but it was a tamed, where they're not unleashed. And hey, maybe he's foreshadowing that they're going to do it to Cody. I don't know, that's the hope on it. But, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more, but I did think it was entertaining. It was fun. It was it was good, and it kind of protected both guys, at the same time. But yeah, I guess I didn't think about the whole Triple H thing. That makes total sense now. Yeah, and the whole Kevin Owens is making a lot of sense. And I was actually, when I saw his last promo, I was thinking of you. I was like, Kevin, you just need to stop. Jake doesn't like this. This is too much for Jake. You're making too much sense. You're breaking that fourth wall, and we don't like it.
I naturally like the heels too. So if they make some sense, then I'm really into it. So there it goes. Not much to say about this next match. Andrade and Carmelo Hayes, Game 7, they've been putting on great matches, but again, maybe a little bit redundant. This time, LA Knight is involved, not as a referee, and they're fighting for his U.S. Championship. Not to say that there wasn't an entertaining wrestling match, because again, Andrade and Carmelo Hayes have been putting on great matches. It's just that it's the same thing, and LA Knight jumping in can do the same. The crowd was cheering for each competitor at one point in this match. So they put on a very good match, but I think it was hurt a little bit in believability that anybody was going to win besides LA Knight.
Yeah.
He ends up hitting a double BFT, which is kind of entertaining, on Andrade and Hayes, and pins Carmelo for the win. As the king of the LA Knight fan club, how did you enjoy this?
I thought it was, like you said, an entertaining match. I kind of had no doubt that he was going to win on there, so it was there. But I thought they put on, like you said, Carmelo, Andrade did a really good job, and our boy LA Knight had to have the botch of the night, I thought, where he slipped and wedgied himself on the ropes there. But hey, he bounced back, didn't let it affect him, and he still threw, I think, Carmelo off the top rope. But I was just there, and I was like, man, that's embarrassing.
Is he too old for that spot? He kind of botches those jump spots quite a bit.
He might be. I mean, he's 42, 43, so he's up there. He's at the age that some guys start, hanging it up or whatnot. Yeah. But he's trying to prove, he can still do it on there. So he might be. He might need to stop trying to do that, because that was very embarrassing. I will say that.
Yeah, that's definitely on his list of impressive moves. He's not like an overly athletic wrestler, so he kind of a grappler, grinder, all that sort of thing. But he does have enough athleticism to jump to the top rope. He just misses that spot quite often.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of see how that goes. All right, let's go ahead and take our last break here on Nuclear Heat. We still have Gunther and Cody Rhodes to talk about, as well as something we've been talking about a little bit, Rhea Ripley, x-rays of a fractured orbital socket after getting beat up at NXT. Also, Baron Corbin, King Corbin, Constable Corbin, whatever you want to call him, no longer with WWE. So we'll talk about that as well. Coming up next year on Nuclear Heat on 93.7 The Ticket.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session, and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday, and do it now. Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today.
I'm ready.
Burgers?
Check.
Chips?
Check.
Icy cold beer?
Check. Except this one.
I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread?
I can't stop eating it.
Rico!
Relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
Brutal Riddles Jewelry is excited to be celebrating 65 years. 65 years of so many incredible memories celebrating with each of your special moments. In celebration of the 65th Riddles Jewelry anniversary, we will be offering up to 40% off all engagement rings and all diamond fashion jewelry. The excitement doesn't stop there. Riddles Jewelry is also offering 18 months, 0% interest and $0 down financing on all qualifying purchases. Riddles Jewelry has always been known for incredible customer service, one of the largest selections of engagement rings, and don't forget about the on-site jeweler. Come celebrate with us at Riddles Jewelry, your one-stop diamond shop with exclusive Levian jewelry, Pandora Charm jewelry, and more, all at Riddles inside Gateway Mall.
Back to Nuclear Heat with your host, Jake Bakoven, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back on Nuclear Heat here on 93.7 The Ticket as we wrap up our Crown Jewel review. I am Jake Bakoven. He is Augie Pena, and we are Nuclear Heat. All right, let's talk about Gunther and Cody Rhodes here, battling out for the Crown Jewel Championship. The crowd was really into this, so I'll at least give them credit for that. We kind of had our thoughts on the Crown Jewel belt there. But as far as they are concerned, it's the top, champions of both sides. So it makes sense that they would be really into this. Not necessarily a high-flying match as you would expect with the competitors, but kind of a traditional scrapping wrestling match here as well. Cody Rhodes ends up winning by rolling over a sleeper hold that Gunther had. Of course, Gunther has been using that sleeper hold pretty well lately, including to knock off Randy Orton. But it was a non-dominating win, if you will. Gunther kind of had the upper hand at times, but Cody Rhodes gets the roll-up pin for the win. Gunther ends up shaking hands with Cody Rhodes, which was kind of interesting. Nothing more after that, which I think was kind of to tell the story of kind of, hey, you got me this time with the roll-up, but I'd like to do it again.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll necessarily see these guys go at it again because, this kind of settles that little feud there. What did you think about it? Again, tough position. One of these guys had to take a pin. I thought perhaps you might see Kevin Owens or something like that get involved in this match. Even Randy Orton would have been really entertaining going into the event. Of course, after the Randy Orton-Kevin Owens match, that didn't seem like it was going to happen, although it would have been more of a surprise if they would have got up. But I don't love, once again, pinning Gunther here, as now his kind of veil of not being able to be pinned has taken quite a hit since WrestleMania, of course, taking the Sami Zayn pin, now losing to Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is as over guys you can get in the top of the card. I get that, but still, I didn't love it. I would have liked some outside interference to cause, heck, either one of them to lose, I suppose.
Yeah, I agree on that. I thought it was a fine match. It wasn't anything great, which was a little bit disappointment. I thought it was good. It wasn't great on there. And yeah, I said it on our predictions last week. I said I wanted Gunther to get the clean pin on Cody if it was going to happen, because I thought that's how it should be, because like you said, Cody's been pinned. Gunther's only been pinned by Sami Zayn, at WrestleMania. So they kind of had this dominance for him, and kind of goes away with that, and I know it's against Cody Rhodes, but I think that just shows you how. So I'll put it, with Roman Reigns, he pins anybody, it's Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes, it's like, it just kind of shows the different levels and who holds the belts. And there's no one like Roman Reigns on the roster right now. You take a pin from somebody, it's kind of bad. It's kind of a little damaging, to some point in feuds. And I thought, Gunther needed it more, more to just keep, like you said, that he's this impenetrable guy, he just unbeatable. But to have him lose that way on a roll up, to me, that was weak. If you're gonna pin somebody, do the finisher, have it like that's it. I hit you with my best move. You got him on a roll up. That champion versus champion, that was disappointing for me.
It somewhat protects Gunther, but sometimes it also just kind of cheapens the whole match, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you get a technical win, but were you the better man? No, not necessarily. So I didn't love how that ended. And again, I don't think Gunther necessarily comes back to Raw with the same aura that he necessarily had going into that. So I think that hurts a little bit. It doesn't put Cody Rhodes, like, again, it's just a problem with the whole idea together. I don't know if it necessarily puts Cody Rhodes on any different plane. A loss definitely wouldn't have helped him because the loss is going to help him, either champion at that point. So again, I thought some interference maybe would have protected one of them a little bit more one way or the other. Couple news and notes before we get out of here. Rhea Ripley now out indefinitely after taking a beating from Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. This was off-screen beating. There were bats involved. There were x-ray photos posted, and a fractional orbital socket is what we got for Rhea Ripley. Still kind of questioning about whether this is covering up for a real-life injury that's going to take her some time out. Of course, she was out for a lengthy period of time just not too long ago, or if this is a way to try to still pump some more time or more, kind of bad blood between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, maybe to stretch it out longer to get to WrestleMania or something.
Yeah, I mean, what they're reporting is that it was a legit injury she got when she headbutted Raquel Rodriguez on Monday, and then that's why they did the stunt on NXT. But I mean, like you said, we never know, what's truly, unless we see them on that. And sometimes even when we see them on the surgery bed, it's a kayfabe injury on there. But when they did this is where I was like, Tiffany has got to get involved in this, kind of. Now what do you do? If Rhea's out, like truly out, what do you do with Liv in that? Now, I mean, Tiffany could have been a great. You don't have to. I mean, it would have been cool if she would have pinned Liv, somehow, and then distracted that way. But it's now they got to be scrambling with that, because you got to give Liv something on there. But if it is a true injury, you hope Rhea comes back because she's great.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll got to see what their next move is there. Just wanted to mention some releases that we had. Indy Hartwell released, and she did have a match as late of SmackDown. So we'll kind of see what they do with Candice LeRae there, who she's kind of been pounding around with for a couple months now. But Indy Hartwell released, as well as Tegan Knox. The big one, though, was Baron Corbin, the lone wolf, Happy Corbin, like I said, Constable Corbin, whatever you want to call him, just seemed to have run out of creative space for him. He's won the King of Ring, won the Money in the Bank, didn't necessarily cash in well on it. Won the Andre, of course, most importantly. Retired Kurt Angle, hit the end of days on Becky Lynch. I mean, he's had a memorable WWE career, but it just felt like since that thing with Madcap Moss was the last kind of thing they had for him. Yep. They tried to pair him with JBL, which would have been great, but they didn't give him any victories with JBL, and so JBL just kind of walked away. Then kind of had the NXT success with Braun Breaker, but can that revive your career once you get back to the main roster? Not if they pair you with Apollo Crews.
No, yeah, and it was disappointing. And I think the thing that really was a dagger was him not cashing in the Money in the Bank on Jinder Mahal. That was, Jinder Mahal, I think, will go down as one of the worst WWE champions of all time, and you didn't successfully cash in. So, they'll find work. I think these three will all find work somewhere else, maybe AEW in 90 days or whatever it is. But yeah, it is sad to see, but I'm gonna be honest. I forgot Baron Corbin was on the main roster again, so it's one of those, the names comes up, but they'll find jobs. Something.
Well, and I think we'll see Corbin again at some point in WWE, but it was very clear. They don't really have a spot for him right now. At some point, maybe when they need another dog food match, that's the call.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Corbin is like, he never was the top of the card, but he just had a lot of memorable moments. Yep. So I'm going to miss Baron Corbin until they hopefully bring him back at some point. But all right, that'll wrap it up for Nuclear Heat tonight. Our WWE Week in Review. This week it was Crown Jewel. Now, some of my favorite shows, Raw and SmackDown after a premium live event that will set you up in the new feuds up for what we've got coming on the next month of wrestling here. So that'll wrap it up for Nuclear Heat. We'll be back next week, Uncut with Kyle Perry, coming up next year on 93.7 The Ticket.